The world of ancient trade was a tapestry woven with threads of exotic goods. Among the most coveted commodities were spices, fragrant treasures that tantalized the senses and held both culinary and medicinal value. From the bustling marketplaces of the Orient to the empires of the West, the demand for spices fueled an intricate network of exchange. Trade routes emerged as lifelines between distant cultures, facilitating not only the exchange of goods but also the transmission of ideas, technologies, and religions. These routes were often arduous and perilous, traversing treacherous deserts, towering mountains, and vast oceans. Yet the allure of spices and other precious commodities propelled merchants to brave these challenges. The earliest evidence of spice trade dates back millennia, with archaeological discoveries revealing traces of spices like cinnamon and cloves in ancient Egyptian tombs. These spices were not merely culinary additions, they held symbolic and ritualistic significance, used in embalming practices, religious ceremonies, and as offerings to the gods. The ancient world's fascination with spices laid the foundation for the intricate networks that would later develop. These networks extended from the spice-rich lands of Asia to the eager markets of Europe and beyond. The demand for these exotic flavors and aromas would continue to grow, driving exploration, innovation, and ultimately shaping the political and economic landscape of the world. The origins of the spice trade can be traced to the fertile lands of Asia, particularly the spice islands of modern-day Indonesia. These islands, also known as the Moluccas, were the primary source of cloves, nutmeg, and mace. Beyond the Spice Islands, other regions of Asia also contributed to the rich tapestry of the spice trade. India was renowned for its pepper, ginger, and turmeric, while China offered cinnamon, cassia, and star anise. These diverse sources of spices created a complex web of trade routes that crisscrossed the continent. The demand for spices spurred innovation in preservation and transportation methods. Spices were also highly sought after for their medicinal properties. Many spices were believed to have healing powers and were used to treat a variety of ailments. The Silk Road, a network of interconnected land routes, played a pivotal role in the early spice trade. This ancient network stretched across Asia, connecting the East with the West. Spices, along with silk, porcelain, and other precious commodities, traveled along these routes, carried by camel caravans across vast distances. The journey along the Silk Road was fraught with challenges, including harsh weather conditions, treacherous terrain, and the constant threat of bandits. Despite these dangers, the lucrative spice trade spurred countless expeditions. The Silk Road became a vital artery for the exchange of goods and the dissemination of cultural influences. As merchants traveled from one region to another, they carried with them not only goods but also ideas, languages, and religions. This exchange of cultural elements enriched the societies along the Silk Road, fostering interaction and understanding between different civilizations. The Silk Road's importance in the spice trade waned with the rise of maritime routes, which offered a faster and more efficient means of transporting large quantities of goods. However, the legacy of the Silk Road endured, leaving an indelible mark on the history of trade and cultural exchange. The development of maritime technology and navigational skills ushered in a new era in the spice trade. Sailing ships began to ply the seas, connecting Asia with Europe. This reduced the time and cost of transporting spices. Navigational advancements like the astrolabe and compass were crucial. These tools allowed sailors to navigate with greater accuracy. Maritime trade routes shifted power from overland routes to seafaring nations. Portugal and Spain led in exploring new routes to Asia. These routes facilitated global exchange of goods and cultures. For centuries, Middle Eastern traders dominated the spice trade. Cities like Baghdad, Damascus, and Alexandria thrived on the flow of spices. They connected Asia with Europe, acting as intermediaries. Their knowledge of spices was vast, passed down through generations. The rise of maritime routes and the age of exploration changed everything. European powers sought direct trade links with Asia, bypassing Middle Eastern intermediaries. The legacy of Middle Eastern influence on the spice trade remains in culinary traditions worldwide.